You don't have to live in the United States in order to run a US LLC. You don't need to have a social security number nor a visa. And when structured correctly, many non-US founders can legally operate US LLCs without owing US federal income tax on foreign-sourced income. That is one of the biggest secrets. The United States are the biggest tax haven for non-US citizens or residents, and if the US LLC is structured properly. It sounds very simple, but there are some details one needs to pay attention to. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Teodora from the Passport Investor, an international advisory firm that helps entrepreneurs legally internationalize their lives and businesses. We help our clients establish global business structures with internationalization planning, residency, second citizenship, and mobility planning, international company formation, banking and payment infrastructures, asset protection, and everything modern global citizen needs in today's world. US LLCs are one of the most popular structures used by founders worldwide because they combine global credibility, strong legal protections, extremely flexible structure, access to US banking, access to Stripe, PayPal, a number of processors, compatibility with international business, and they're most commonly used by freelancers, consultants, SaaS founders, e-commerce sellers, investors, agencies, digital nomads, international founders from all over the world. If you have a properly structured US LLC, then you have one of the most versatile legal business tools that you can use globally, and it's extremely popular for founders from all across the globe. However, it does have to be structured properly and combined with the right tax residency. When it comes to taxation, by default, a US LLC is a pass-through entity, meaning the company itself does not pay federal income tax. The profits are passed through to the owner, and the owner is taxed instead of the company. And this can avoid the double taxation problematic that usually appears with C corporations. But here is a detail that most people do get wrong. For US people, LLC income is taxable to them personally. For non-US people, the tax depends on where you live, where your tax residence is, where your business activity happens, whether income is US sourced, whether the LLC has US operations. If your LLC has no US employees, no US office, no US physical operations, and clients and activity primarily happening outside of the US, then in many cases the income is considered foreign sourced, meaning no US federal income tax applies. However, you still must file compliance forms, and this is where most people fail. Even if no tax is owed, foreign-owned LLCs must still file a number of forms, fillings, and reports. Failure to file these reports can result in massive penalties even if there's no tax to be due. And this is why DIY setups oftentimes end up being expensive mistakes. Step by step, how to open a US LLC. Step 1. Choose the right state. For most non-residents, Wyoming is usually preferred. Low fees, simple maintenance, no state income tax, business-friendly laws. There's also Florida, Delaware, and Nevada, but are often unnecessary for smaller online businesses. Step 2. Choose your company name. It has to be something unique, it has to include LLC, and do avoid restricted words like bank, trust, insurance. Step 3. Hire a registered agent. It's required by the law. They provide a registered address in your state and receive a legal notice on your behalf. Step 4. File articles of the organization. This is what officially creates the LLC. You do not need SSN, a visa, residency, or US citizenship. A passport and a foreign registered address are enough. Step 5. Obtain an EIN number or your business tax ID number. Required for banking, payment processor, tax fillings. Non-residents can apply without an SSN. Step 6 is the operating agreement, which defines ownership, control, profit distribution, legal separation. Even single-owned LLCs need to have one. And then we have step 7, which is US banking, and many founders use Relay, Mercury, Wise. Some traditional banks are also options, but they do require more documentation, and banking is usually the most difficult step. However, it is also the most important. And step 8, stay compliant annually. This includes state filings, IRS forms, BOI reporting, proper accounting records. So ignoring this can break something that's otherwise a really good structure. If structured correctly, lawsuits stay inside the business and your personal assets are insulated. And more advanced founders do have actually more US LLC entities, one for operations, one for IP, one for investments. There are multiple ways how to structure this with having more LLC structures. This is a form of strategic structuring, not just paperwork, and there are multiple ways how to have and structure multiple LLCs for different things. So there are numerous benefits to having a US LLC, and if it's structured properly, it gives global legitimacy and the favorable reputation of being an entity from the United States, which is one of the biggest economies in the world. Then access to a number of payment processors, US banking, the advantages regarding taxation if structured properly, and if you are a non-US citizen, non-resident, and other requirements. And then there is the fact of legal asset protection, the scalability, the international compatibility. So if structured correctly and designed around the personal situation of the owner and its business, a US LLC is probably the best business setup that many international entrepreneurs are using to scale and build their business globally. There are also some risks and common mistakes that happen while running a US LLC. And the biggest problem that we see is that assuming that an LLC means automatically no taxation anywhere and ignoring tax residency in the home country of the owner. Then also missing filings, IRS forms, using poor banking setups. If you follow some generic rules, then your situation is very different. So no generic templates can really be used. And if you fail to report beneficial ownership, it's these details that can lead to potential risks and mistakes, because there is no universal setup. Your structure in the end must also match your citizenship, your residency, and the business model, of course. A US LLC can be one of the most powerful tools for entrepreneurs worldwide. However, it's not automatically magic. It's not a plug and play situation. We help founders, consultants, investors, and digital entrepreneurs set up structures internationally, and our team has extensive experience in setting up US LLCs for non-residents. And our team has extensive experience in setting up US LLCs for non-residents all across the globe. If you want help in setting up a US LLC and structuring it in the most efficient way, or are interested in a full internationalization strategy, feel free to reach out to us at the Passport Investor. The link for booking consultation with us is below in the description.